this presentation is all about coral. Their scientific name is Anthozoa. They fall under the domain Eukarya, kingdom Animalia, phylum Cnidaria, and the class Anthozoa. So coral is not a specific species. There's many different types of species that fall under the name coral. Their main two types are hard coral and soft coral. So coral reefs are found under stony coral, which is a hard coral. They have a hard exoskeleton, and it makes up the bedrock of the reef. So coral is made up of hundreds of thousands of individual polyps. The coral reef itself is not one organism. So these polyps draw in dissolved calcium from the seawater and solidify it into calcium carbonate, which is then used in order to make that skeleton. Another type of hard coral is hydrocoral, also known as fire coral. So they have that exoskeleton. However, they have an additional characteristic of when touched, they sting or create a burning sensation. So the soft coral is also known as octocoral. They are a fleshy plant-like organism. They don't have that skeleton. Another type is Anthophotherians. This is a type A of soft coral. It is known as black coral. So their habitat is anywhere in the ocean. They can live in various different oceans and different depths. Their range of living is pretty wide. However, the reef-building organisms normally have a symbiotic relationship with algae, which will be discussed more later. And because of that, they require living in shallow areas because they have a higher requirement of light. But some coral can live in areas of less light and in greater depths of the ocean. So the coral, the individual polyps of the reef-building coral contain algae called zooxanthellae. These polyps give the algae a home, and in return, the algae provide polyps with food through photosynthesis. In addition, coral reefs provide habitats for many different marine species, including sponges, oysters, clams, crabs, sea stars, sea urchins, and many different types of fish. Some soft corals also have zooxanthellae to get food and energy, but others, such as black coral, don't have the symbiotic relationship. Instead, they're carnivorous and they feed on zooplankton. This allows them to not need light to survive, so they can live in deeper and darker waters. Their predators include fish, marine worms, barnacles, crabs, snails, sea stars, sharks, parasitic organisms, and more. The soft inner tissue of the coral polyps are preyed upon. Other than the predators, their largest threat is weather-related damage, which includes natural disasters, excessive UV radiation, increased sea surface temperature, and increased salinity. This picture shows the before and after effect of an invasive algae. One unique trait of the coral is the calcium carbonate skeleton. This skeleton will be built on top of as time goes on and provides structure and protection for the soft interior of the coral, and it can even regulate the pH of the ocean water around it. Another unique trait is the composition. They're made up of hundreds of thousands of polyps that come together to form the coral. The polyp is a tubular sac-like animal with a central mouth surrounded by a ring of tentacles. The nematocyst, as shown in the picture, is the trait of the coral that can create the burning sensation. 25% of all marine life depend on coral reefs at some point in their life. 1 billion people worldwide benefit from the ecosystem services they provide. Corals provide habitat, feeding, spawning, and nursery grounds for over 1 million species, including many commercially harvested fish species. They provide food for nearby humans, especially on islands. They act as recreation and tourism opportunities, including fishing, scuba diving, and snorkeling, which all contributes to local economies. They provide protection for coastal infrastructures, and they prevent against damage from natural disaster. They even act as a source of medicine. The total net benefit per year of the coral reefs are 29.8 billion US dollars. This includes tourism and recreation, coastal protection, fisheries, biodiversity, and the dependence on it by different marine species. These are my references. Thank you.